The Children's Bible, Best Love Stories, a Peter Pan book and record set. The Creation of the World.
In the beginning, when God made heaven and earth, the earth was without form, and darkness was upon the deep. And a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. And God said,
"Let there be light."
And there was light. And he called it day, and the darkness he called night. So evening came, and morning came. This was the first day. Then God said,
"Let there be sky in the midst of the waters."
And God made the sky, and he called it heaven. And evening came, and morning came. This was the second day. Then God said,
"Let the waters under heaven be gathered into one place, so that dry land may appear."
And the land he called earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said,
"Let the earth put forth plants bearing seed, and fruit trees bearing fruits."
And it was so. And evening came, and morning came. This was the third day. And God said,
"Let there be lights in heaven to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs for festivals and seasons, and for days and years. And let them shine also to give light upon the earth."
And God made the two great lights, the sun to rule the day, and the moon to rule the night. And he made the stars also. And evening came, and morning came, the fourth day. And God said,
"Let the waters be filled with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth."
Then God created the great sea monsters and all living creatures that move in the waters, and every kind of bird. And God blessed them, saying,
"Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters of the seas, and let the birds increase on land."
And evening came, and morning came, the fifth day. And God said,
"Let the earth bring forth living creatures, cattle and creeping things, and all the animals of the earth."
Then God said,
"Let us create man in our image, to rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the animals of the earth, and the things that creep upon the ground."
So God created mankind in his own image. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them and said to them,
"Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food."
And God looked upon all that he had made, and saw that it was very good. And evening came, and morning came, the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, with all their mighty throng. On the seventh day, God rested from all his work, and he blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on that day he ceased from the work he had set out to do.
Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden.
In the first days, when God made heaven and earth, he formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed life into him, and Adam was his name. And God planted a garden eastward in Eden, with fruit trees and berry bushes that were pleasant to look upon and good to eat. And there he put Adam. And God said to him,
You may eat freely of every tree in the garden, except the tree of knowledge of good and evil. On the day you eat of it, you shall die.
The garden was filled with birds and animals, but Adam was all alone. And God said,
I will give him a partner.
So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And while he slept, God took one of his ribs and closed up the place with flesh. And from the rib he made a woman, Eve. And Adam took her in his arms, saying,
You are bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh.
And they were happy together. But there was a serpent in the garden, and he was more crafty than any wild creature the Lord God had made. And one day, when Eve stood near the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the serpent crept up and said,
The tree has beautiful fruit. Eat some.
Oh, no. God said if we did, we would die.
You won't die. Instead, your eyes will be opened, and you'll be like God. You'll know the difference between right and wrong. Go ahead, Eve. Do it.
And Eve took a fruit from the tree and ate it. And she gave some to Adam, and he ate it too. And their eyes were opened. They knew they had done wrong. And then they heard the sound of the Lord God in the garden, and they tried to hide. But God saw them and called out,
Have you eaten from the tree I told you was forbidden?
The woman you gave me for a companion, Lord. She gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate it.
Eve, did you eat too?
Yes, Lord. The serpent tricked me.
And the Lord was angered. And to Adam he said,
Because of what you have done, the ground is cursed. Now you will have to work to win food from it. All the days of your life, until you return to the ground that you came from. Dust you are, and to dust you shall return.
And then God drove Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden to earn their bread by hard work from that time on. And the way back was barred to them forever.
Cain and Abel.
Long, long ago, after Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, they had two sons. The first they called Cain, and when he grew up, he became a farmer. The second son was named Abel, and he became a shepherd, tending a flock of sheep. One day, as was the custom in those times, Cain and Abel gave gifts to God as they prayed to him. Abel's gift was some newborn lambs, the best of the flock, and this was pleasing to God. Cain's present was some fruits and vegetables he had raised, and God was not pleased and did not accept the gift. Cain was angered, and God said to him,
Why are you so angry and cast down? Don't you know that when you do the right thing, you will please me?
But Cain made no answer to God. Instead, he said to his brother,
Let's go back now, Abel, out to the fields.
And Abel went with Cain. But when they got there, Cain picked a quarrel and struck his brother. Cain knocked Abel down, and when he tried to get up, Cain struck him with a rock and killed him. Then Cain covered Abel with stones to hide his body and ran away. But God was watching, and he said,
Cain, where is your brother Abel?
I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?
What have you done, Cain? What have you done? Your brother's blood cries out to me. You are cursed now. You shall be a fugitive, a wanderer, and the land will no longer yield you its wealth. It shall yield you nothing.
Oh, Lord, this punishment is too heavy. You are driving me from my land, making me a fugitive. Any man who sees me will have the right to kill me.
It will not be so.
and God put a mark on Cain to warn any man who met him, saying,
If anyone raises a hand against Cain to kill him, vengeance shall be taken against him 7 times.
Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord, and he lived as a wanderer east of Eden.